followed to understand your content is appreciable. I do agree with you that you have followed the good one.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for your input.
Can we begin now? I mean, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so let me start it again. The second part of this. एक मिनट, sorry, कुछ प्रॉब्लम है इसमें. लगा उसको लगा. देखो ये क्या हो गया. क्या हो गया. इसको लो, इसको PPT लो.
Okay, teacher. It's not myopia. Okay, it's vision.
See this. This is the chapter 19 of NEP 2020. You go through this chapter and you will find that NEP 2020 also says that technology must be followed by the higher education institutions and by the schools also. As I told you, that the reason behind is that because the coming century, all the students be familiar with this kind of things, and the higher education institution must be technologically sound. And the traditional way that we have followed and the things that have gone is quite old and very essential to keep the students up to date. So integrating educational technology into the school curriculum, this recommends developing educational software, video viewing equipment, advanced online courses. Advanced online courses gives credit to the students in job also somewhere, because online courses gives an opportunity to the students, those who are unable to attend the educational institutions regular basis. So advanced online courses support for appropriate information and communication technology usage, specific technology related policy action, content repositories in Indian languages for educational content, machine translation of content uploaded into any content repository, publishing software for educational material, online assessment. So for every head, they have described that assessment be done on the online assessment. Whatever you have done, you put it on the Google Classroom, then the teacher will observe it and will give you the marks on your mail or whatever the way he is having through online. So these all related to the technologically sound system, and where the educational institutions are using technology in the classroom in the form of video, in the form of another kind of machines. So these all be developed in institution in order to make the students much familiar with the ICT devices. Enhancing educational access to technology in remote areas, because we know that there is a gap between the have and have-nots. So this should be filled, because those who are living in remote areas, they're unable to enjoy from this kind of learning, this kind of teaching. And Sometime it happens that nowadays I am also getting the complaints from the students that I am in a remote area of Bihar. I am unable to attend your class, and you please give me notes. But I told him that this is not beneficial for you, because you come to the place where it is available. You may have stay in your relative home, because what I am teaching through this online classes, you you can't get this from books, or you can't get from notes. And my words will help you much more to understand the content in comparison to the writing notes. So he followed the same, and he came to the relative place and continuing these classes. But it is not possible with everyone to come at the other's place. So this is also a gap, or this is also kind of unfortunate for those who doesn't have these technological aids. So high quality, so it is recommended that those areas are not having technological internet connections, they must be provided, and they must be giving, students must be giving the opportunity to go through the sound technological devices. High quality specialized content to be made available in open educational repositories. So repositories be developed by the certain centers and certain institutions that will be identified as a sound technological institutions. They will prepare courses, and it will be help the students to learn much more, like a reservoir, like a bank, and they will be able to take help from these educational repositories. Maintaining content quality, the content must be updated and knowledgeable and of high quality, uh, so that the students can learn and can understand in better way. Development of tools for automated language translation of educational content, specific technology related policy actions. So certain kind of norms will be also there. So these all is given in the chapter 19 of NEP 2020 for making or improving your teaching, learning and evaluating system. That all comes under the effective pedagogy. So these are the recommendation of NEP 2020. In another chapter, there is another chapter related to ICT. That is, I think, chapter 11. This also says that the teacher in higher education institutions, the information technology be provided in such a way that the teacher can utilize it and the teacher can use it during their teaching and can produce good kind of or sound teaching learning environments with there. See this knowledge, National Knowledge Commission. And this is the recommendation of National Knowledge Commission, that the in training colleges where the teacher training, pre-service and this B.Ed, M.Ed, so ICT be developed there. And the schools must be having smart classrooms and connection. There will be a connection between the industry and the school, and so that the students and the pupil teacher can take the internship from that side also. The things that is useful for this is, you see this, why do we need ICT, approaches to ICT. Yeah, this is related to teachers training colleges. I must special needs, the students having special needs. For that, ICT is also software we developed for them. Yes, you see this intrapersonal skills and interpersonal skills. This is a kind of two skills that ICT environment gives us. Intrapersonal skills, that is skills within the students. Say, for example, self-discipline. A student know that I have to study myself, and this is the time, and I have to go through my books, or I am through this whatever the teacher taught in the classroom. This self-discipline, ability to learn independently, flexibility and adaptability, self-awareness, perseverance and self-motivation, compassion, integration, self-respect. These intrapersonal skills that developed with the help of ICT. ICT helps to develop these skills among the students. So beneficial for the students in the sense that it makes a value-oriented personality among the students by developing these all traits. And interpersonal, see this, interpersonal skills, balance asking and telling, create high trust, don't let your opinion become the truth, stay under control, join an organization, clarify your intentions, get feedback, take care of yourself. So these skills also developed by the this ICT. Interpersonal skills and intrapersonal skills, two kind of skills, interpersonal and see this, intrapersonal. So this is within the individual and this is among the students. These are different strategies for applying ICT in teacher education. And now I come to the this first you try to understand this taxonomy that helps you to adopt which method is helpful for you. And this is taxonomy based, that is pedagogy that helps to understand how to learn, how to teach in the classroom, so that the maximum kind of students can get benefit from your teaching. This is a taxonomy given by Benjamin Bloom. And Benjamin Bloom was a Jewish American educational psychologist, born on 21st February 1930, Oxford, died on 13th September. And classification of educational objectives of Benjamin Bloom is known as theory of mastery learning. See, what does it says? Taxonomy, as you know, that it is a nomos, science of arrangement and set of classification principles of structure. Means category. This is a definition of this category. Now, original taxonomy and the revised taxonomy. Original was given by Benjamin Bloom, revised given by Lauren Anderson. Lauren Anderson was the student of Benjamin Bloom. The original taxonomy that was given in 1956, it divides the learning into three. That is cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. Cognitive domain is related to mental skills, knowledge. Affective domain is related to growth in feelings or emotional areas, that is attitude or self, and related to heart also. Psychomotor domain, manual or physical skill, that is hand skills. Instructional designer, trainers, and educators often refer to these three categories as KSA. K means knowledge, S means skills, A means abilities. KSA. So whatever the pedagogy is there, these three components, KSA, that is knowledge, skills, and abilities, are required for a teacher. So sometimes it happens that we start teaching and we never like to understand that the content that we are delivering in the classroom, how far is able to develop knowledge, and what kind of skills we develop, and what ability this content is developing in our students. So KSA, these three be understand by the teacher. One by one, I will take cognitive domain. Cognitive domain is related to brain. Brain, as I told you, that whenever the a concept is delivered in the classroom, it is received by the student's brain, and analysis process starts in the brain. And if the student is able to understand or analyze this knowledge, he can explain the segments of this knowledge separately, and otherwise it becomes a confusion in the mind. So this cognitive domain is further divided by the Blooms. In what way? That it is a foundation knowledge. Number one is it is knowledge. It is foundation for learning. It provides a basis for higher levels of thinking, but is rote in nature. Knowledge that we deliver in the classroom, it may be in the form of dates. In this date, it happened. It may be in the form of days. On this day, we celebrate and World Environment Day. And sometimes procedure. So these three, day, dates, procedure, these all comes under rote learning. So this rote learning is a kind of lower level of learning. Lower level of learning is rote learning, and that comes under the category of knowledge, that is the part of cognitive domain. Whenever you want to ask the question in the classroom related to knowledge, to check the knowledge, you may use these words. List the following words. List the following items. List the following dates in chronological order. So this is the question cue that start the question related to knowledge. Another define Archimedes principle. Whatever he learned by heart, he will spell out. Tell me please what stories was behind this happening. So the story is simply learned by the student and explain. Described, state, match, select, identify, show, level, collect, examine, tabulate, name, what. These are the first word of any question that help a teacher to make the questions in order to know whether the student has learned or whether the student has the knowledge of that particular concept. So this is knowledge aspect. The next level of any cognitive domain is comprehension. First you learn it by heart, but now you want that your students must understand this knowledge. Now this is second order cognitive domain. Ability to grasp meaning, explain, restate ideas, means of understanding the basic information, translating, interpreting, and extrapolating it. Question cues: summarize, describe, interpret, predict, associate, distinguish, estimate, differentiate, discuss, give example. This understanding is comprehension is quite high level of learning that comes after knowledge. If the student has acquired the knowledge and he has analyzed this knowledge in the brain, certainly he will be able to interpret this knowledge in their own words. He will be able to summarize it in own words. He will be able to make a difference or distinguish between two phenomena, and also to give discussion or elaboration with the examples in their own word. So as we move in the process of learning from one level to another, slowly and gradually the student learns the knowledge completely. So this is knowledge and this is comprehension. What I want to say, whenever you are in the classroom, you want to follow effective pedagogy, first try to understand whether the student has learned this knowledge by heart, then analyze it with their own words or with the help of the students, so that they can interpret and extrapolate and can discuss and can describe and can make a difference between knowledge component. This is understanding or the comprehension level of learning. The third level of the learning in this cognitive domain is application. This application aspect says that the knowledge learned by the students, understood by the students, is able to apply or to correlate this knowledge with the outer words. Say, for example, you have explained the electricity in the classroom. First is the knowledge, then analysis and interpretation of this knowledge in the cognitive domain. Now you can correlate it with the outer environment, that is where the electricity is flowing, and how this there is light in the classroom when we switched off and we switched on. When we switched off, there is darkness. How this does this electricity flow? So these application aspect says that now you correlate the knowledge to the outer world of the students, so that the concepts becomes more clear and they can utilize this knowledge in the outer world also. Instead of only vocational knowledge or the rote learning is carry on. So stop this rote learning and make this so fruitful and beneficial that the student can apply in their surroundings also. This is analysis. Somewhere analysis is also needed in through cognitive domain. Say, for example, three components of knowledge are there, and combining these three components, we frame one theory. So this analysis process in learning goes on, where the breaking of knowledge is very essential. Somewhere in mathematics also, because there are X, Y, Z, three variables are there. Now you want to make a relationship between X, Y, and Z. So analysis is essential here. So somewhere, if there is like a prime or one equation is there, now you explain this equation. What does X denotes? What does Y denotes? What does T denotes? So these three variables given in one equation, what does it denotes and how we can establish relationship between these three variables? This is the analysis particular knowledge. So effective knowledge pedagogy is possible only when you are passing through these all steps one by one. Then you can make perfect learner in that particular learning, what I want to say. So first is knowledge, another is understanding, third is analysis of this knowledge. Now synthesis is this knowledge. Synthesis means combining all the things all together and form one principle or form one theory and form formula or one another kind of explanation. So these all comes under the head of synthesis. So for an effective pedagogy, as far as delivery and communication skill is required, similarly, what kind of process is required is here. This is also comes from the Bloom's taxonomy that says that knowledge, understanding, analysis, synthesis, and further evaluation, these all are the part of an effective pedagogy. If teacher is able to understand that how to impart the concept, how to analyze the concept, how to rejoin the concept, how to recollect the concept and form one theory and form one kind of principle, then you will be a successful teacher. Evaluation is the last in the case of this Bloom's taxonomy. This says that rank, grade, decide, test, whatever the pedagogy you have followed in the classroom, you try to evaluate your students, whether they are able to understand you or whether they are able to your way of communicating the concept. You can assess the students by evaluating your teaching method or your pedagogy. If there is need to improve it, you improve yourself and try to go with the pace of the learning speed of the students and try to improve. So there is also a gap, or there's a space for the teachers to make the pedagogy more effective. It is up to you that how far you put your efforts, how far you are trying to understand your students, and how far you are making yourself as a good teacher. So a good teacher is always a teacher who friendly with the students up to certain extent and able to communicate the things what he wants to say in a better way. So communication skills and understanding the level of the students, these all together make you a perfect teacher. I have shown this all in such a way. See, Bloom's original taxonomy: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. This comes under the cognitive domain only. Now, what I can say that I have developed the brain of the students for learning. So this comes as a cognitive processes that goes on in the brain. Evaluation is for you, and on the basis of evaluation, you assess yourself. Affective domain. This relates to heart. Affective domain is related to your hriday, heart. Heart means if the brain is developed, the learning is easy for the students. He is responding very well. Ultimately, the interest will develop in the subject, and he will say that I will opt this mathematics for graduation, and I want to go for engineering. I have developed knowledge in biology. I want to go for medical college. So the interest develops in affective domain. That is H, heart. So heart, proper emotions, feelings, and proper attitude towards the subject. That is also a related to heart. What comes under heart? Receiving, responding, valuing, and organizing, and characterizing. In what way? Students saw a person helping helping poor. Responding, he saw that pupil appreciating the person who helped poor. This is the response. Valuing, this one value develops here. He gives value that helping poor is an appreciable work. This all done by the heart, not by saying to anyone. Organizing, then he organizes his learning that how he can help poor. This is organizing the affective domain. And ultimately a character develops. At this stage, the habit becomes the part of his character. So the affective domain develops from receiving what he observed in the environment, replying in the same way. That value becomes the part of the personality. Ultimately, it is organizing and in a integrated part of the personality, and he appreciates what if someone gives the money to a poor, and it becomes a part of a character. A good character develops in that way. So what is our duty as a teaching profession is concerned? That always gives a kind of environment to the students that reflects good teaching. And for that, students always respond, appreciate, accept it as a value, organizing it, and ultimately it becomes the part and parcel of the personality. So in that way, we can develop the character of a good students. Third one is psychomotor domain. This domain is related to skills, that is hand skills and writing skills, drawing skills, sketching. In mathematics, it is problem solving skill. In science, it is experimental skills. In language, it is writing skill, reading skill. So these skills we develop through the psychomotor domain, and with the help of several exercises, these all become trained, and ultimately the students imitate all the things that you have developed in the personality of the students, manipulate it, reproduce it, precise. Sometime whenever needed, he can make certain correction and execute these all skills in the daily life, articulate it, naturalization, that is, it becomes a practical. In a practical life, he always apply these all. And finally, this is all about the psychomotor domain, that says that imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation, and naturalization. So these are the 3 H that makes the learner more perfect. That is this head, 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 heart, your emotions, and hand. 3H, head, heart, and hand. These 3H is developed, you can say the student is perfect learner and is master's learner of your teaching, and your effective pedagogy always that there are certain modification in the Bloom's taxonomy by his student Anderson in 2001. So you must know that what kind of correction is there in this taxonomy. The correction is that the Bloom's divided it into head, heart, and hand. But the Anderson says that you follow in a sequence. Don't divide it as a heart and hand and head, but he replaced these words by remembering, recognizing, recalling. So remembering means rote learning. You remember it. Recognizing means that can locate that particular knowledge whenever he saw it. Recalling can spell out. So this is recalling. So he says that remembering is in place of cognitive domain, and he says that recognizing, recalling is the part of remembering. One can remember when he can recognize and when he can recall it. And understanding, interpret, exemplifying, classifying, summarize, and inferring. He used these 5 terms. If the student is interpret the knowledge, explain with the help of example, classify the knowledge, summarize the knowledge, and able to conclude something, then we can say that he has understand the things that a teacher deliver in the classroom. Comparison, explanation, these all are required to understand the effective learning, and the art of teaching and learning says that these all be completed by a teacher so that the student can apply this knowledge to the outer world, and you can train 3 domains, that is head, heart, and hand, through effective pedagogy, and you can say that it is a perfect learner. So a perfect learner requires these all categories of learning that I have explained you by Bloom's or by the Anderson. In analyzing, again, categorizing, differentiation, organizing, attributing, these are the questions. Evaluating, checking, critiquing. This is checking, determine that the product that you have developed, that the behavior that you have developed, you check it, judge it, hypothesize, justify. creating, generating, planning, producing, question queues. So this is in that cone. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. This is the perfect learning. If the learner is able to remember and able to understand the remembered knowledge, can apply, can analyze, can evaluate, and can create something new, then you can say that the learner is perfect learner. So this is the implication of Bloom's taxonomy. The implication is that the learner, those who are in your classroom, is able to apply this knowledge in the outer world is a perfect learner. So this is about the Bloom's taxonomy. Now you can ask me the questions if you have related to this. Please ask the questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I will unmute. Yes, please. Any questions, please? So if there are no questions, let us thank Professor Nasreen for, yes, any questions you have? No. So on behalf of EICT Academy at IIITDM Jabalpur and Shankara College, Sri Shankara College of Arts and Science at Kanchipuram, Madam, we sincerely thank you for your most valuable lectures and the time that you have taken out for us. It has been incredible time for us. I mean, you gave a lot of insight into pedagogy, into curriculum development in the light of NEP 2020. I'm sure that the participants will be taking these inputs and will definitely be implementing those in their own institution. With this,
thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.